Hey guys, welcome back to another Full Tilt Drift adventure. Today we're out in a place called Dishpan Valley near Arrowhead Lake in Southern California. From what I hear, this place is notorious for cars flipping over, so we'll see what we get to today. This is my first trip with the 4Runner with the lift on it, and now with the rock sliders, so I'm pretty stoked to see how they do on the trail. It's great weather today, extreme fog as I was driving up here. I'll show you a couple pictures that I took. So I'm hoping it clears up a little bit today, but I do like off-roading in the cold, so it could be worse. Here we are setting out on the fire road leading to our challenge for the day. Dishpan Springs is a moderate to hard area between Big Bear and Arrowhead Mountains. Tom invited me out here and told me he had run the trail before and said it would be a good test for our newly outfitted off-road rigs. But things had changed since he'd been here last, and things were going to get very challenging very quickly for us and our cars. Alright guys, here we are at the start of the Dishpan Trail. We're going to head up the backside of Big Bear right now to get there. And the rock sliders have already met a couple obstacles on the way here. But I think I've done a pretty good job with them because they're holding on the car, they still look like they're in great shape, and they've already protected the car from 3 or 4 rocks. So I'm pretty stoked with them. We'll see how they do for the rest of the day. It's my first trip on the new Bilstein 5100 suspension lift and self-made rock sliders. And you can see here both were put to good use traveling this trail. Tom called this spot the Gatekeeper because of the tall, smooth rocks that are easy to slip off of, but both the Lexus and the Toyota handled it without any issues. Until about 2 turns up the trail. So we've got a bit of a problem going up the 4Runner right now. You can see the front, lift, the rear, no lift. Yeah, the rear shock came out. There she is, boys. Perfect example of what you don't want to see on the trail. That's my rear spring. Alright, so we found or scavenged all the parts for the car. We're actually going to be able to fix it looks like. Tom's helping me out, tightening the nut on top of the shock. And after that, we should be able to get out of here. Spring is back in. Shock is on. Alright guys, we're back in business. While we reinstalled my suspension, Tom let me know that the most difficult obstacle of the day was still yet to come. A stretch he called the Waterfall a few miles ahead was going to have some truly difficult spots for us. I came out here to see how the Toyota would fare over some rough terrain, and this is exactly what I was hoping for. At the Waterfall, Tom took the direct path up and hit a snag trying to get between a rock and a tree. He absolutely racked his rear bumper. Here you can see the spot he was trying to fit through, and he was able to winch himself out after he got stuck. But I decided to take the bypass that a couple of people traveling the other direction told us about to avoid the same predicament. Unfortunately, the bypass wasn't a lot better, because at the end there was a real steep downhill with a transition onto the uphill part of the trail. I had Tom guide me, and we used the winch creatively to keep the car anchored, and I made it through fine. Alright guys, we just finished our trip through Dishpan Valley with Tom, and I'd say the 4Runner did pretty well. Both our cars got beat up a little bit, and we both know we need to pick some new stuff up if we ever were going to run that trail again successfully, but we were able to winch and pull ourselves through it. It was a great time. I'm glad I went, and everything on the 4Runner held up pretty good, except when the suspension fell out. But we got the suspension all back in, we're back on the road, and now we're going to head home. I can't wait to take this thing on another adventure, and I'm so glad that I made the rock sliders as strong as I did. If I hadn't, we would have been in trouble. Thanks for watching Full Tilt Drift, guys. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments, and if you leave the video a like, I would appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.